Oh yes, he only went and did it. He went and absolutely smashed it out of the park. Look at that. A sea of blue. I have not felt this good in quite some time, and I have to say I was worried right up until that exit poll. It is a Tory landslide. And as is the nature of these sort of things, of course, the leftists decided to go absolutely mental any way they could. So why don't we bask in that glorious salt today? First things first, we'll have a look at the person that started momentum and basically got Corbyn as leader of the Labour Party being berated by Alan Johnson, who I believe is a lifelong Labour supporter. Let's just watch and bask in the glorious rendition that is an arse whooping.
I don't live in London, I live in Yorkshire. I live in a working class community. And I've known John for many years. John's been around, from the Bennite days. And I'm afraid the working classes have always been a big disappointment for John and his cult. Corbyn was a disaster on the doorstep. Everyone knew that he couldn't lead the working class out of a paper bag. Now John's developed this momentum group, this party within a party, aiming to keep the purity. The culture of betrayal goes on. You'll hear it now more and more over the next couple of days as this little cult get their act together. I want them out of the party. I want momentum gone. Go back to your student politics and your little, left-wing...
I have to stop it there for just a second. This is the duality of man right here. I am George Osborne. I am smug. I am absolutely loving life at the moment. Tories have won, and momentum are getting their arse handed to them on live TV. And then general Labour activists would be Ed Balls to the right, looking somewhat depressed, but they absolutely know that momentum have to go. Speaking of which, let's let him finish.
But that isn't realistically going to happen, is it?
I'm saying what I want.
Yeah.
So what I want after, if that exit poll's wrong, the most disastrous result for the Labour Party, the worst result since 1935. People like John and his pals will never admit this, but they have messed up completely. And it's our communities that are going to pay for that. I feel really angry about this, that we persevered with Corbyn for this kind of experiment of Back to the Future.
John.
And it didn't take that long for Corbyn to decide to resign. Labour leader announced plans to step down as party suffers major election defeat. Let's have a listen to Corbyn, shall we?
This is obviously a very disappointing night for the Labour Party with the result that we've got. But I want to say this. In the election campaign, we put forward a manifesto of hope, a manifesto of unity, and a manifesto that would help to right the wrongs and the injustices and inequalities that exist in this country.
Yes, and the people told you, quite clearly, to get stuffed with your manifesto of hope. I can't say that I have ever been more proud to be British.
All of those policies were extremely popular during the election campaign and remain policies that have huge popular support all across this country. However, Brexit has so polarised and divided debate in this country. It has overridden so much of a normal political debate.
Well, your party shouldn't have tried to stop it for 2 years then, should it? You've dug your own grave here, Jeremy. Don't say anything stupid.
I want to also make it clear that I will not lead the party in any future general election campaign.
Oh, thank God we got rid of him. He's going. Oh, God. I mean, the way tonight's election has gone, I can't imagine it being another momentum-backed leader next time. But I don't know. I really hope we've got rid of the communists for good now. Seriously. Thank you for stepping down. You should have never been leader in the first place. Anyway, he waffles on a bit more with his speech. The rest of it isn't that interesting. We need to salt mine my dudes. Let's get into it. Lucky for me, I've got a Spectator subscription, and they've got a really handy set of tweets that we can go through where we can eat up that lovely, lovely salt. First up, we've got the ever so lovely man-child himself, Owen Jones. I'm so sorry, guys. Just utterly devastating. Brexit just smashed us. Keeping together an electoral coalition of Remainers and Leavers as the country bitterly divided just became impossible. Yes, well, maybe you should do what we voted for, leave the EU, and this divide wouldn't still be about. I mean, honestly, as soon as we leave, it's not really going to matter. Anyway, let's keep the salt going. Next is the ever so lovely as well, Ash Sarkar, who fucks like a champion. We couldn't overcome the Brexit culture war. I'm so sorry. To everyone who fought like lions till the close of the polls. The movement continues, and we keep on keeping on tomorrow. Yes, we'll get back to Ash Sarkar. She's gone a bit nuts, and it's absolutely fantastic, but the tweets just keep on coming. Next up is The Guardian's own Paul Mason. I'm sure we'll go through one of his articles in Laughing at the Guardian soon. BBC exit poll predicts Tories to take 70+ seats. If so, a victory of the old over the young, racists over people of colour, selfish over the planet. Scotland will leave the UK. However, it does not feel right compared to on the ground. Oh my. I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? They genuinely think the country is full of racists. They genuinely think that this is an old versus young. The young are only really voting Labour. No one else really is. But young people like me, we voted Tory. I know a few other people who voted Tory who are young. So are we part of that old who are beating down on the young, I wonder? I don't know, Paul. Maybe you can tell me. Here's the next bit of salt. It just says, fuck Novara Media, December 12th, 2019. We've then got Toby Young with a tweet of a picture straight from Novara Media, the communists and Momentum themselves. The look on Ash Sarkar's face and Aaron Bastani looks none too happy either. This is what a reality bath looks like. Yes, Toby, you are indeed correct. Reality hit them hard and they didn't like it. Maybe they'll change, but somehow I doubt it. The last tweet we'll go through for now is from David Lammy. Yes, let's hope that there aren't too many Lammys of Agent about anymore. They seem to have lost their power. Let's see what he said. This looks abysmal. The result will be devastating for communities like mine all around the country who are now facing 5 years of Boris Johnson with unchecked power. Oh, it's wonderful, David, isn't it? I am more fearful for our country than at any point in my lifetime. I think this is the most relaxed I have been since I got into politics. The salt, it is far too good. Let's have a laugh at Owen Jones and Ash Sarkar on live TV, shall we?
Well, firstly, it's a catastrophic result for the country and for everything that the Labour Party exists to fight for, the people it was founded to champion, to represent. And I'm so sorry to people watching this who are full of dismay and horror and who are scared.
I don't think he's talking to any of us.
And what I would say is this: was it about people thinking the top 5% shouldn't pay more tax? Was it about people objecting to public ownership? Was it about people thinking tuition fees were a good thing? Was it about people thinking genuine living wage was a bad thing? No. It was a culture war which has ripped this country apart, Brexit being the kind of the lightning rod of that culture war.
Which, Owen, you were perpetuating. You would go around Brexit party conferences and you weren't there really to ask them any serious questions. You were there to try and bait a reaction, which if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But clearly you're not taking the culture war as seriously as when it hit you in the face like a frying pan when it came to this election. All I'm saying is that, just as Joker said, you get what you fucking deserve.
And in terms of, I know people are saying you're just coming up with excuses here. It's about Jeremy Corbyn, the man. The reason people will say, well, why would you back him? You know, look at the ratings and all the rest of it. In 2017, it was just 2.5 years ago, Labour had the biggest increase in its share of the vote since 1945 because of those policies which he was associated with.
She's about to make a good point, the presenter, but I want to make one first. Yeah, they got a massive vote share because the Tories had kick a fox in the face and take the dementia patient's money May. He was up against like the easiest Tory leader to go up against probably ever, and he still managed to lose. And now this woman, the presenter, is going to make the point I was going to make anyway, but I'll let her do it.
But Owen, you went into this campaign as the most unpopular leader for decades.
But this is the point I'm making. I don't think Brexit and Jeremy Corbyn, in terms of the collapse in his popularity, can be separated. Because Labour, unlike the Conservatives, who just have assembled their Leave coalition, they became the Brexit Party. Labour is a party which represents passionate Remainers and passionate Leavers. It is the party which was supposed to be of Hackney and of Hull. And the problem is that they try to have a compromise which worked in 2017 before society polarised very severely over Brexit.
Yep, and seems to have backfired
But of
tonight.
course-
I want
so-
to bring
yeah, of
Ash.
course,
Unfortunately, that's where the clip ends, but Ash Sarkar did, of course, try and make equally stupid apologetics for why Labour lost and why Jeremy Corbyn is still the most popular person in the country, apparently, even though he's bottom of every popularity poll, even the general election. But anyway, if you think it's bad enough for basic apologetics, wait until you hear this one on Good Morning Britain.
The point is, you and I are in the Labour Party because we want to make this country fairer. We want people to have decent jobs. We want our schools and hospitals to be properly funded. They won't be, because the leader that you have supported has let this country down, and the Labour Party, therefore, has let this country down.
Oh, there it is, you see. Old versus young. A woman who's actually part of the Labour Party. Bet she voted Tory. That's what Paul Mason would say anyway.
And I think we need to recognise that if we're actually going to be able to deliver the things that we want to see, which is why we're in politics.
The policies that have been democratically developed and chosen by the Labour Party are incredibly popular.
No, they...
I'm sorry, but this is the worst result. It is an absolute arsefuck for the Labour Party. They have been annihilated. It's a 78 majority for the Tories. You can't call these policies popular when they are on an unelectable platform and they are part of the policies that make it totally unelectable. I'm sorry, but we're going to have to hear that again before they get in the massive argument.
The policies that have been democratically developed and chosen by the Labour Party are incredibly popular.
No, they're not.
They are.
You have just gone down the biggest defeat since
nationalising the railways,
1987.
free
What part of that
broadband,
don't you understand?
60 to 70% of
What part of that don't you understand?
those policies.
at the risk of
These
winning-
people
Grace,
have
Grace, Grace,
absolutely
Grace.
no idea.
You're
They
a
haven't been to
robot.
Workington.
Grace.
They haven't been to
You're a robot.
Blythe.
working
They haven't been to Ashfield.
I was in Workington on
They
Sunday.
voted because
Wait.
of Brexit.
Grace.
If you're still wondering exactly how I have been looking for the past few days, I look exactly like this on the left. The smuggest face in the world, while the meltdown is happening with the woman Grace on the right. I absolutely love what is happening. Keep the salt flowing, man. Come on.
I was in
Right.
Workington on Sunday,
Right.
and do you know what?
Literally,
Wait a minute,
Brexit.
everybody, time out. If the policies were that popular, why is Jeremy Corbyn just taking one of the biggest drubbings in modern political history?
I suppose that's a nicer way to put arse fucking, but go on, let's hear her answer.
Because if you look at where we lost seats, it was because we came out in support of a second referendum.
Yes, I'm sure that's the only reason. Oh my god, I'm sorry. It's just such a meltdown, I know, but I'm going to have to skip the part where they just argue, because it's really hard to follow, and it's not that entertaining. But then it goes straight into another good point that's got to be made about how much she's having a meltdown.
Thing that has changed
Keep
has been
This
the
is
Brexit
exactly.
position.
This is exactly why
the
Jeremy Corbyn.
arrogance of
Well,
the people.
actually, no.
Barely
Actually,
left. Barely left
you know,
London.
okay. Everybody pipe down a moment.
The lecture.
This
Getting
right here
Absolutely.
is Labour Party's problem.
This is the problem for
We've
the Labour
all
Party.
known.
They're all
We've
part
all
of the
known,
same
Kevin.
party.
Kevin,
Yes, they are all part of the same party that is currently having one of the biggest meltdowns I could ever have hoped for. It's almost on par with Trump, but I think the entirety of the US melting down when Trump won. I don't think anything's going to beat that. But hell, it's nice to reminisce. Anyway, I think that's enough of Good Morning Britain. She said the most mental stuff that we had to go through. Labour policies are popular. Everyone there who was part of the Labour Party disagreed with you. And you lost 60 seats. Incredible. Anyway, a bit more salt, I think. Let's have a listen to MP Lloyd Russell Moyle after he won his seat in Parliament. Let's just have a look at his speech.
Because the Conservative Party have an aim to break up our country. They aim to destroy our NHS, and we will say no. We will fight them in the Parliament. We will fight them in the courts. We will fight them in the workplaces, and we will fight them in the streets. They will not destroy our country. Thank you, Pentown.
Oh my god, it's like he's trying to be Churchill. You're gonna fight the Tories in the streets? What, are we gonna have backdoor boxing rings again? Are you mental? He must have been in total panic stations when he saw the exit poll. He must have panicked and gone, oh God, I have to go full Winston Churchill to save the Labour Party, but it just makes you look deranged. Oh my. And anyway, Andrew Doyle's got a collection of good tweets, and he makes a good point with them, saying, if you smear the working class and elderly as racist and stupid, you're a bigot. If you see fascism everywhere in one of the most tolerant countries, you're a fantasist. If you have contempt for democracy, you're an elitist. Above all, you're the reason the left continues to lose. And he has a collection of tweets that you can go through yourself. But I think the main one is from James Felton, who seems to be the most popular lefty Twitter comedian at the moment. And he says, special congratulations to older voters who went Tory, fucking over the younger generations for decades and guaranteeing them a Brexit they hate because you liked the man with funny hair, who isn't afraid to say those racist things you enjoy. Yes, he doesn't seem deranged at all, does he? But I think we should go through one more video for this salt mine. We are going to swing back around to Ash Sarkar, who you may remember before was on primetime ITV with Owen Jones to talk about the Labour Party as a Labour activist. She is always on primetime slots on TV, on panel shows, on Question Time, on things like that. I've seen her so much more than Nigel Farage. Well, you'll see why I'm making these points. Let's get into it.
The thing that I want to say is that we have tried to win 2 elections with everything stacked against us, the money stacked against us, the media stacked against us. And largely we've attempted to win by playing by their rules. We've tried to accommodate, we've tried to shape consensus, we've tried to win people over. And those are all important things to do.
The media's stacked against you. You get so many invites to panel shows, it's ridiculous. You're on the BBC all the time, you're on ITV all the time, you're on Channel 4 all the time. You refuse to go in with newspapers because, they're all owned by billionaires. You actively said to The Sun, no, I refuse to do interviews with you. So that's on you. It seems you're actively sought out to go on these things, to have interviews done with you. For some reason, you seem to be a really popular person to talk to as a Labour activist. So to say it's stacked against you is absolutely phenomenal. I don't stop seeing you, and it's very annoying. It's why I've done about 4 videos on you, Ash. It's because I can't get away from you. But hopefully this election is the one that puts you to bed.
Making the positive case, winning people over through the power of persuasion, that is really important. But it's nothing without creating some kind of counterweight, some kind of alternative pole of attraction. We simply cannot go on with only the Daily Mirror to rely on to get a left-wing case across, to get across the stories that matter, like the crisis in our NHS or the elderly social care crisis.
I have a Times subscription, Ash. It's always mentioned in there. The problem with the Mirror is that it's very much a tabloid, and it's very much not seen as a reliable source of news. And also, these are the stories that you tend to put up on Novara Media, and from what I've read of Novara Media, it very much likes to swing things one way and be somewhat biased in what it tells people. All I'm saying is, really, you've brought this on yourself, and refusing to talk to, quote-unquote, the other side, yeah, that's not really helped either. You're just in an echo chamber and you don't know what to do about it. My suggestion would be to get out.
And so, if you felt frustrated by the coverage in the New Statesman, or the coverage in the Observer even, but you kept on buying it, now's the time to stop.
2 of the most left-wing magazines and newspapers, you're telling people to stop buying them, and you're wondering why the right are winning the media war, even if you can call it that. You can call it for newspapers, maybe. But obviously your echo chamber is your Overton window so left-wing that you think the New Statesman and the Observer think communists need to stop buying them. They are full of communists writing in it. You write in it yourself. Don't give me that crap. For God's sake, half of the Observer, the Guardian's print, goes straight to the BBC. The BBC literally has most of its presenters reading off Guardian articles. That's how, people going on panel shows have things fresh in their mind. They'll give them a Guardian. And it's the most left-wing paper I can think of. Hence, I did a whole show about how ridiculous their articles are. And here you are saying people need to stop buying it? You deserve to lose. But honestly, you're never going to get anywhere without being a good tactician, and that is the last thing you are, Ash. You are not good at politics, unfortunately. But you do provide a lot of salt, so please keep crying. Oh, the tears.
And support something different. And maybe if we build up those alternative poles of attraction, those counterweights to a media which has proved itself to be entirely supine to the interests of the establishment, then maybe, just maybe next time, we can do it better.
Wrong. The media's on your side. You don't know it. It's entirely full of leftists. That's why the right wing basically just try and avoid pretty much all the main channels now. They'll go on Question Time because it's pretty established to be fairly balanced. They'll pretty much refuse every interview with Channel 4. They'll probably refuse interviews with ITV. They'll probably refuse interviews with the BBC. Just look at Darren Grimes. Whenever he goes on Sky, he hates it. Like, it's the same with Douglas Murray. He'll go on talk shows and he'll get berated by people. It's like, no, they are on your side. You do not get berated on these things. They let you push your point without interruption. And that just doesn't happen with right-wingers. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about, Ash, but you are wrong. But my God, you are salty, and my God, do I love it. But anyway, that's pretty much all the salt I wanted to go through. So I think to finish off this video, I'm just going to let us watch watch Mr. Boris Johnson's speech, because I thought it was so good, I may as well finish off the video on it. So I'll leave it with you, and until next time, as usual, a goodbye.
Hey everybody, my friends, well, we did it. We did it. We pulled it off, didn't we? We pulled it off. We broke the deadlock. We ended the gridlock. We smashed the roadblock. And in this glorious, glorious pre-breakfast moment, before a new dawn rises on a new day and a new government, I want first of all to pay tribute to good colleagues who lost their seats through no fault of their own in the elections just gone by. And I, of course, want to congratulate absolutely everybody involved in securing the biggest Conservative majority since the 1980s, which was literally, as I look around, literally before many of you were born. And with this mandate and this majority, we will at last be able to do what? You've been paying attention. Because this election means that getting Brexit done is now the irrefutable, irresistible, unarguable decision of the British people. And with this election, I think we've put an end to all those miserable threats of a second referendum. And I say respectfully to our stentorian friend in the blue 12-star hat. That's it. Time to put a sock in the megaphone and give everybody some peace. But I have a message to all those who voted for us yesterday, especially those who voted for us Conservatives, One Nation Conservatives, for the first time. You may only have lent us your vote, and you may not think of yourself as a natural Tory. And as I think I said 11 years ago to the people of London when I was elected in what was thought of as a Labour city, your hand may have quivered over the ballot paper as before you put your cross in the Conservative box. And you may intend to return to Labour next time round. And if that is the case, I am humbled that you have put your trust in me and that you have put your trust in us. And I and we will never take your support for granted. And I will make it, I will make it my mission to work night and day, flat out, to prove you right in voting for me this time and to earn your support in the future. And I say to you that in this election, your voice has been heard, and about time too. Because we politicians have squandered the last 3 years, 3.5 years, in squabbles about Brexit. We've even been arguing and about the tone of our arguments. I will put an end to all that nonsense, and we will get Brexit done on time by the 31st of January. No ifs, no buts, no maybes. Leaving the European Union as one united kingdom, taking back control of our laws, borders, money, our trade, immigration system, delivering on the democratic mandate of the people. And at the same time, this One Nation Conservative government will massively increase our investment in the NHS, the health service that represents the very best of our country, with this single beautiful idea that whoever we are, rich, poor, young, old, the NHS is there for us when we are sick. And every day that service performs miracles. And that is why the NHS is this One Nation Conservative government's top priority. And so we will deliver 50,000 more nurses and 50 million more GP surgery appointments. And how many new hospitals? 40. Correct. And we will deliver long-term NHS budget enshrined in law, 650 million extra every week, Health Secretary. and all the other priorities that you, the people of this country, voted for. Record spending on schools, an Australian-style points-based immigration system, more police, how many? 20,000. Colossal new investments in infrastructure, in science, using our incredible technological advantages to make this country the cleanest, greenest on earth, with the most far-reaching environmental programme. And you, the people of this country, voted to be carbon neutral in this election. You voted to be carbon neutral by 2050, and we'll do it. You also voted to be Corbyn neutral by Christmas, by the way, and we'll do that too. You voted for all these things, and it is now this government, this people's government, it's our solemn duty to deliver on each and every one of those commitments, and it is a great and heavy responsibility, a sacred trust for me, for every newly elected Conservative MP, for everyone in this room and everyone in this party. And I repeat that in winning this election, we have won votes and the trust of people who have never voted Conservative before, and people who have always voted for other parties. Those people want change. We cannot, must not let them down. And in delivering change, we must change too. We must recognise the incredible reality that we now speak as a one-nation Conservative party, literally for everyone from Woking to Workington, from Kensington, I'm proud to say, to Clwyd South, from Surrey Heath to Sedgefield, from Wimbledon to Wolverhampton. And as the nation hands us this historic mandate, we must rise to the challenge and to the level of expectations. And Parliament must change so that we in Parliament are working for you, the British people. And that is what we will now do, isn't it? That is what we will now do. Let's go out and get on with it. Let's unite this country. Let's spread opportunity to every corner of the UK with superb education, superb infrastructure and technology. Let's get Brexit done. But first, my friends, let's get breakfast done too. Thank you all very much for coming. Thank you all very much. Thank you all. Thank you.